All right, you guys, man, welcome back to another video. So today I'm gonna be coming at you guys with a very raw video once again. As you can see by the title, man, I hope that this video can touch somebody, that this video can motivate somebody, or this video can, do some good to somebody's life. Like I said, man, I know that I've been doing rants on this channel, and I started this channel more so as a positivity to try to put good into the world. But it's like a lot of times that when you pushing the good narrative, it's only sometimes you have to speak a certain way in order for people to really grasp the message of which you're communicating from. So as you can see by the title, man, I felt like for the last 4 years, man, that I have been in a uphill battle non-stop. I feel as if there's never room where I can breathe. It's like how they always say that everything happens for a reason. And it's like I'm really trying to figure out the reasons that I keep going through stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like, don't get me wrong, man. I know that it's people out there that go through way worse stuff than what I go through, right? I know I'm not the most cursed person in the world. I know that, God doesn't have it out for me. The universe doesn't have it out for me. I'm not one of those black people that like to say that the white man won't let me do, the white man won't let me have, the white man set up a system that's designed for me to fail. I'm not one of those type of people. I'm the black man that'll come look you in your face and take full accountability for a lot of my actions, because I played a very important part. Now, granted, if I made decisions based off of lack of information at the time, then granted, that is what it is. But I'm not gonna never really just try to push off the excuses on any and everybody other than myself. But I can't say that it doesn't get frustrating constantly having to go through trials and tribulations. So I want to say, let me just kind of give you a rundown. So I want to say maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I had just moved out on my own. So I was staying with my grandmother, right? I stayed with my grandmother for like 5-6 years. I want to say from 17 all the way up until 24. Yeah, 24, because I wanted to turn the 24 my Kobe year. Which technically I had a good Kobe/Jordan year. When I was 23 is when I first got my first car. When I was 24 is when I first got my first apartment. So it was a good but I tried to term that as my Kobe year. So yeah, I stayed with my grandmother from 17 up to 24. So that's what, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. It's like 8 years. Now, obviously, I know it might not be 8 exactly, depending on the month range I moved down there. But we're just going to sum it up to about 8 years. Might be a little bit over, might be a little bit less. But I'm going to just term it at 8 years. So within those 8 years, it was a lot of, me trying to kind of discover myself in a sense. And it was an uphill battle. It was a part of my life to where I did a lot of drinking. I drank a lot of alcohol to kind of try to cope with not having the information that I needed to necessarily be the best that I could be in life. You know what I mean? Not having consistent good male figures to give me some solid advice about anything other than smoking dope, drinking alcohol, or fucking bitches. You know what I mean? Some stuff that actually matters, like, hey man, go do this so you can raise your credit. Hey man, go for this job right here so you can be making X amount of money where you can get your own apartment, your own car, and start doing for yourself. No, none of that advice. It was always negative shit. That's what I was surrounded by. So it got to a point to where mentally I became very frustrated, and I became, just upset. And my best way to cope with my environment, just because I didn't have a car or I didn't have my own place, so I was like, I can't escape this physically, so I'm gonna escape it mentally. So I self-soothed, and I heavily sedated it with alcohol. But it got to a point to where I kind of wanted better. You know what I mean? I wanted better for myself. So fast forward 8 years later, I end up getting my first car when I was 23. Or it was like right around income tax time. So I get my first car. I bought it cash from my stepdad, right? So when the lead up to that also was, my mom taught me a lot of different things. Shout out to my mom. And one of my things that she taught me was that, nothing is going to be handed to you in this world. You have to get out and work for whatever it is you wanted. So my stepdad, I bought a cash car from him for $1,200, 2001 Toyota Avalon. The car that I'm sitting in right now, this car's done a lot for me. But I bought it from him. Now, he could have gave me the car, or he could have allowed me to pay monthly payments on the car. But my mama was like, no, because if you give him the car, he's never going to learn value. Because you give him the car, he'll tear that car up and he'll be without a car a year later. So if you let him make monthly payments on the car, he gonna feel as if, since it's you, he can miss one payment and he can say, well, I want to go get these new shoes, or I want to go get this new game, or I want to go get something other than own up to its responsibility. So no, when you want this car, you give us the payment in full and it's all yours. We sign a title over just like that. And at the time I couldn't really fathom that type of discipline or that type of structure, because I'm looking like, well, goddamn, you supposed to be my mama, you supposed to contribute, you supposed to make my life easier than what it, than what it is. I felt as if her be entitled, a sense of entitlement. Keep in mind, this woman has helped. She put me through school. I graduated through school. I graduated from high school. I went to college. College wasn't for me, but I still had the opportunity to go. I never been arrested. I don't have no kids. I'm 27 at the moment. I keep getting that wrong. I be wanting to say 28. My girl always be having to correct me, but I'm 27 at the moment, and I'm just trying to, and I'm figuring things out still. But because of her guidance and how she dealt with me, I was able to, stay afloat and not make detrimental decisions. They kind of hurt me down the line. Now, I made some, but it wasn't necessarily detrimental. You know what I mean? And by the way, I do want to be a father. It's just right now, at that time specifically, I know mentally I wasn't prepared. At this time, mentally I'm prepared. Financially, I'm not the most prepared. You know what I mean? So I don't want nobody thinking that I'm one of those people that know I want kids. I'm 27. I'm at the point where I want to start my own life. You know what I mean? So fast forward after that. So I worked up to get it, right? At the time, I couldn't understand it. But once I finally got it, it felt as if, okay, now my life is going to get easier. So from there, you go on to, I actually caught COVID a little bit after that. So like I always say, with some good, it comes bad for me. And it's a project of my life, Soon as I get my first car, a little bit after that, I catch COVID. Soon as I move out on my own, a little bit after that, I start getting, damn near getting garnished. Getting money ripped out for school debt that I had to pay off. So we're going to fast forward to that. So I finally get my 1-bedroom apartment, right? And at the time, man, I'm full time, but I'm not really making a lot of money at the job, at the position at the job I'm working in. But at the time, I wasn't facing all of the financial difficulties that was to come. I was staying in a 1-bedroom, and I stay in Louisiana. So when I tell y'all these rent prices, I don't want y'all to be thinking like, oh man, like it's different from staying in Texas, or I stay in a small little city out here called Ruston in Louisiana. So my rent for my first apartment was $490 a month. $490 a month for a 1-bedroom. Now, granted, it don't have a bathroom. I mean, not a bathroom. My bad. It got a bathroom. It don't have a washer and dryer. Now, you have the complex washer and dryer, but you don't have an actual in-home unit nor a hookup to where you can get one. So that's the only thing I would say about it. But then the in-home unit is so nice because it has a lock on there. She keeps it clean. Like, my landlord is the best. You know what I mean? So shout out to her. But I finally get that, and not too long after that, here comes the garnishments. So it was like that in that time period right there. I wouldn't say it was necessarily super hard, but it was getting to the point, So I was still making that. I was still working. Well, I had switched from that position to another position, but I still, in turns, wasn't making enough consider what was coming, which was the garnishments, man. So it got to a point to where I started thinking I was gonna have to move back in with my grandma. I got to thinking, man, I was gonna have to start door dashing. I got to thinking, man, I was gonna have to do this. I was gonna have to do that. I was gonna have to do something to try to compensate for what I was going through, man. So it was rough, man. It was really rough. So fast forward past that, right? I get past that. So the opportunity presents itself for me to get a 2-bedroom. Keep in mind, a 2-bedroom, man, I'm staying at now, I pay $590 a month. Everything that goes to the 2-bedroom goes to the 1-bedroom that I said it doesn't have an in-home unit. None of them over here do. Not just those specific ones, but none of them do. But so no one told me that the moving process from a 1-bedroom to a 2-bedroom was going to be that expensive. You know what I mean? Like to get your lights turned off in your 1-bedroom cost, to get your lights switched from the 1-bedroom to the 2-bedroom cost, to have to pay a down payment. So it's just constant money to get your Wi-Fi switched. All that was just money. And keep in mind, at the time, I'm still getting garnished. So I'm still getting $600 ripped out of my check a month. So they was hitting me for $300. So I eventually ended up getting a management position. I forgot to leave that out. But I was getting, at the time still, I barely was seeing a full management check because I was still getting garnished. So I'm getting $300 ripped out of my check easily a week. Like not a week, but every paycheck, bi-weekly, every 2 weeks. I'm getting $300 ripped out of my check. That shit equals up to like $600, man. So I went through damn near a year of that, man. I went up to like 11 months. To the point to where I had to actually start asking for help from my mom, from my stepdad. It started getting scary, man. I started feeling very down. I started feeling very bad. And it got to the point to where I just didn't really know. And keep in mind, right before the garnishment, or I think even in the process of the garnishment, I don't know, it might have been after the garnishment, I ended up having an abscess tooth. So I had to go spend money. So over the last 4 years, man, a lot of my money has went to dental problems from, problems from my upbringing, not being really going to the dental. That's not my mom's fault. She did the best she can do with the circumstance she was presented in. So I'm not blaming my mom. If you ever see this, I'm not blaming you. I love everything you've done for me. So and my mom can't do no wrong, because I come from a single mom household who was there for me for everything I ever wanted. I got everything I ever wanted for Christmas. I got every pair of clothes I always wanted. I had every game system from a PS2 to a PS3 to a PS4. Well, I got the PS4 myself, but a PS2 to a PS3 to an Xbox 360. I had 2 different Xbox 360. So yeah, my mom got me a Wii, an iPod Nano for the youngsters. That's an iPod. You go Google it. It was that was before iPhones and all that stuff kind of started popping. But I got everything I wanted, so I don't blame my mom for that. It was just things that she might didn't know or didn't have any guidance with that kind of went without, and that was one of them in a sense. So I don't blame her for it. But, I'm not trying to get too deep into my life story, man. I don't want to bore y'all to death, but I just want to let you guys know that I ain't going to go too deep. But I just want to let you guys know that, bro, in life sometimes, man, you're going to have trials and tribulations, and them motherfuckers going to come back to back, dog. They going to come back to back. I wish that I can sit right here and tell you guys that, man, it's going to get easy. Man, you can handle. Man, you can. But you have to be willing to go through that battle, dog. And I'm telling you, I'm at the point to where I'm tired of fighting. Like, I'm really tired of fighting, man. I'm tired of every time you look up, it's a new obstacle. Every time you look up, it's something. It's just like I never can get a break to mentally decompress, because either I'm going through, or in my mind, the going through is right around the corner. So if I allow myself to get happy, now I'm gonna be vulnerable. So I walk around a lot angry all the fucking time. And it's just angry at a lot of different things, man. It's angry at my dad. It's angry at my family. It's anger at at the world, at the people I work with, at my job. It's just constant anger that I'm always walking around with. And I'm tired of being angry. I'm tired of being, frustrated every fucking day, from my career to my financial situation. Like, it's just nonstop problems, man. And I'm tired, bro. I'm really fucking tired. I'm really tired. And I know it's a lot of people who going through things, man. And I want you guys to keep pushing, man. I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you about it. This ain't no no suicide video and anything like that. I'm gonna keep fighting, but I just want to let you guys know that it's okay to feel tired. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to feel helpless. It's okay to feel weak. It's okay to feel every other emotion other than anger, man, because we human. We ain't gonna have everything. We're not gonna have it all figured out. We're not gonna have things just perfect all the time. There's gonna be trials. There's gonna be tribulations. And for some of us, they come back to back. For some of us, we might get them once every 6 months. For some of them, we might get them once every year. But we're gonna get them. And trials and tribulations ain't gotta necessarily be financial problems. It can be loss of a girlfriend, boyfriend. Like, I'm talking about just y'all breaking up, not necessarily them dying. But then it could be loss of them as far as death go. Death to a family member, death to a friend. So death to your dog, death to something that you love, man. That your car that you had since high school, you got so many memories to this car, you have a wreck and now it's total. You're okay, but the car is gone. So now it's like all the memories you have, opposed to you understanding that they was in your mind, they're embedded in that car. So now you having a hard part time with letting the car go. So it's a whole bunch of different trials and tribulations you're gonna go through in life, man. And like I say, I wish I can get on here and talk pretty and talk deep and tell you guys that, God put you through this for a reason. I'm still trying to figure out the reasons. We never want to question God. I never question God, but I do have questions for God. And those questions are, when is it going to end? When am I going to be able to endure sunny days? Man, because like I be telling people, man, I've been in natural disasters the last 4 years, man. They come one after another, man. I done endured a tornado. I done endured an earthquake. I done endured a hurricane. I done endured a tsunami. I done endured a volcano. I done endured so many different things, man. Like, just to let you guys in on something. Here recently, my grandmother, a woman I speak so highly of, this woman is the closest thing to an angel in human form that I've ever seen. But she had a situation a while back, I want to say probably a year ago, where she had a stroke. So here for Christmas, it was a scare we had with her, because we thought that she almost like she was in the kitchen and it was real hot. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with strokes or with the symptoms of strokes and with things of that nature. So it wasn't the best environment for her. And, you know, long story short, it was almost like she fainted and passed out. But it's just like that right there just shook up the whole house, man. It shifted the whole narrative because everybody was so concerned about her because we was all terrified and we were all afraid. My little cousin was crying. I hated to see that, man. It hurt. It hurt seeing that, and it hurt even seeing my grandmother in that position, considering that she just done so much for so many people, man. And that's why I always tell you guys about, we like to say karma, good karma. I mean, it's hard for me to believe that karma exists, man, because if karma exists, why would my grandmother be going through that? I know she's not perfect. I'm pretty sure in her younger days, she did some bad things. She made some horrible decisions. She did some things that affected people in a bad manner, negatively. But the fact that the last few years, her actions have not dignified her situation she's going through, man, it hurts. It really does. It really hurts. You know, so it's just, you just ask yourself, like, when is it enough, man? Like, it's almost as if you're living in fear every day because of something could potentially happen to her. Something else can happen to you to where you having to pay this money and you already ain't got that money for this. You know, I be thinking sometimes I'm gonna end up in jail for default student loans. You know, I get to overthinking things, and I feel like that overcomplicates things in my life a lot too. But man, it's just, it's rough, you know, and I want to utilize this channel to be able to be a representation of something for you guys to be able to grasp onto. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys, especially if you come from black households, you got a bullshit ass family. You ain't got no uncles, no cousins that you can look up to in a manner of trying to figure out things in life. So you got to kind of figure them out yourself. And that's me, man. I promise you I understand. I promise you I do. I really fucking understand, man. So I want you guys to be able to watch my videos and be able to say, you know what, this guy right here ain't got it figured all the way out. So guess what? I still got time. As long as you're alive, you still got time. As long as you're alive, you still got, as long as you got breath in your body, man, you still got the opportunity to do something with your life, positive, not negative. You know what I mean? But we just got to keep fighting, man. The reason why I want to start this YouTube channel is almost like a community for everybody to come to. We can all, you know, use each other as a venting solution, you know, for us that don't really have that person consistently to be able to talk to. We can utilize each other for that. You guys come here, ask me questions, I respond to them, and we just, you know, do even live talks, like just doing lives to where you guys can ask questions and I can answer them actively, opposed to just making one video based off of it. It can be a 2 or 3 hour live where I'm addressing several questions. Obviously, I'm gonna have to get my channel up there as far as subscribers and views so I can have access to that. But as of right now, they're gonna have to be videos like this. But, you know, like I said, man, with these videos, man, I don't really write anything down. I don't come up with no script. I don't sit there and I don't put things into play. I just kind of come and I just speak. And I know this video might have kind of been all over the place, but for me, it's just having somebody to talk to. For me, it's just letting people know that somebody out there is dealing with something similar or worse than what you're going through. So don't feel alone. Don't feel like you ever got to off yourself. Don't feel like you ever got to, you know, do anything to hurt yourself just because you feel like there's no one out there with you, man. I promise you there's somebody that's out there with you. We might not be in the same city. We might not be in the same state. We might not be in the same area code, but we are all out there. And we have to use social media. We have to use the good for social media and utilize that for us to all to connect and get close to one another. But like I say, man, I ain't gonna talk y'all off too long in this video. You know, I enjoy coming on here and talking to you guys. I enjoy coming on here and, you know, just voicing my frustrations. And, you know, as you can see, for some who, well, I'm pretty sure none of y'all ain't know, but my channel was called Next Level Thinking, but now I just changed it over to my name. But it's still gonna be the mentality of next level thinking. We got to think opposite of how we were wired to think. You know, so when you look at your family and you looked up the fucked up generational cycles that your family left you, you got to think about how to break those. So that's next level thinking. Don't think surface level and think like them and think pussy, weed, well, pussy, drugs, sex is all that is to life. And it's more than that, man. It's building something. It's creating something, man. I want to be able to leave this planet physically, but still be here spiritually through my videos or through whatever other work I eventually get myself into. But with that being said, man, I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out this thing. Peace.